Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lope, JT, and friends. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lope, JT, and friends.
Lisa, Lorraine, JT, and friends. Y'all ready to cook up some conversation?
Kitchen talk.
Let's talk.
There it is.
There it is. There it is. I was like, oh my goodness.
What happened? What was that delay about?
I don't know. It's like my fingers weren't moving right or something. Hey.
Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day. I'm trying to get in touch with our veteran now, see where she at.
Hey, she might be having a good time right now. There's a lot that was happening around in our city, but I'm pretty sure around the world. So to all the vets, we salute you.
Absolutely. And I double salute you if there is such a thing, because I'm not joining the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Reserve, none of it.
Well, you know, they say it's the few and the proud. I think that's the Navy.
I think that's the Navy.
Get that. I think that's the Navy, but you know, it's not for everybody. So that's why today and the days that we celebrate our armed men and women for the work that they do is important, because
absolutely
it's a lot.
You know what, friends? I don't know what it is about you, but you know, we have to introduce the show first.
Oh, man, we jump into the fire.
You just jump right in. I don't understand that. Then we got
no time to play. There's no play here today.
Welcome. This is Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations that cook.
That's what they do. And as you can see, France is nothing. He's like, let's just get it. Oh my goodness, we are so excited to have y'all join us today for Kitchen Talk. It is Veterans Day, so we are honoring our veterans. We did have an invited guest, or do have an invited guest. Maybe they're just running a little late. But super excited. JT won't be joining us tonight. He did text me and say he wasn't going to be able to make it. But you know what, friends? We just make it do what it do, you know?
We are, and we do, and we will. And we will.
Absolutely. So, again, it is Veterans Day. We're saluting our veterans for the sacrifice and their service. We are so appreciative, and we do not take this freedom that we have lightly at all. So I definitely salute our men and women in the armed forces. It takes a special person, special families. It just takes that person. And not to be too spiritual or churchy, but this week Pastor talked about having a call. And I believe that even military, you almost have to be called to it. Even if you try it, if you stay in it, you got to be called to it. Because, I mean, I'm sure there are some that tried it and was like, nah, this ain't for me.
Right.
I would have been, I wouldn't have even tried it.
You already know that. That's not your thing.
I already know. I mean, I have on, my little fatigue dress. I like, wearing my little fatigues and
right.
Whatever. But I think I'm in the army of the Lord.
Well, you said something earlier that's important. It's not just the armed men and women. It's also their families who are also they go to whatever experience with them as well. So when they, deploy, the family is also deploying. So I think it's important for us to recognize them as well, to the families who give their sons, their daughters, their husbands, their wives to protect this country. We thank you too, because it's a sacrifice. It is definitely a sacrifice. And I don't know. I think for me, I had the choice to go ahead and make the decision whether or not to go into the Navy. When I was in high school, the recruiter came and said, hey, you took the test, you did well on the test, you can move on forward. And not only that, we'll pay for your dental school. And I said, it might work, but something about that. Like you say, sometimes you have to be called to it.
I believe you do. What made you even take the test?
Well, for my school, everybody had to take the test. So they put all of us in the auditorium and we all took the test. We all took the ADVAB at the same. Yep. We all took it and we moved on.
So what kind of test was it?
It's the ADVAB. I believe that's how it's pronounced, but it's the test you have to take
for the military.
For the military.
And why would they make all y'all take it?
I just took it. They said, "Hey, going to the gymnasium."
Oh, they do some real recruitment. Like, just go in here and y'all gonna pass the test. We're gonna put y'all in the military.
So it wasn't that you was gonna go in, but I think what our school was trying to do was give us options. So if college was not for you, if you did not get in, you had an option to go into the military, which I think is a good option. For a lot of our students, especially if you you can't pay for it, or you need some time to kind of figure it out. I think the military is a great way to kind of get some discipline and some focus in, so that you can decide what it is you wanted to do.
I agree that it does provide definitely a level of discipline. Hey, Mr. Bruce.
Bruce, my brother.
I definitely agree with that. Just because I've seen people come out and still have that. It's like it embeds in them that form of discipline. Yeah. And how they live their lives and how they do the things that they do. I see that it kind of sticks with them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and that is definitely not one of my favorite words. I hate discipline because
isn't that the word? That's in the word.
I mean, it probably is, but I hate the word. I hate routine. I hate. I
don't know if you can say that. We've been doing this. This is a routine. 9 o'clock Thursday nights.
You're right.
We got to do it.
Absolutely.
That's routine. You made a decision.
I'm growing to it. I'm growing.
I think it's when you decide what it is you want to do, right? And how important it is. Then you say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get it done.
Right.
But the service does provide that. I have students who are a part of the military, and you could. There's definitely a difference.
It is. I agree. I totally agree that it is, and you could tell even from. I don't even remember in high school if we had a junior ROTC.
Yeah.
But in seeing it after I got out of high school and seeing other young people doing junior ROTC, you could just tell they have a different maturity. They're a little bit more mature. They their thought processes are a little bit different and better. And it just, but now it is a few that I'll be like, baby, why you? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, and it's hard. What I heard today, which was kind of like, wow. do we really celebrate our veterans when they come back, right? And they go through X, Y, and Z. And
Sure.
President Biden was sharing, his son served, and from his service, he felt that he had some type of issue coming back, mental and physical, based upon where he was deployed to. So I guess his administration is looking at how they can assist veterans,
Right.
not just
which,
during, but
yeah.
after.
Yeah. And so I just saw the comment from Mr. Bruce. He was like, nope, because we do the big days. We'll do a day like this and make it all shiny and da 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 da, whatever. Or we do, what's the other one? Memorial Day,
Memorial Day, right?
Labor Day,
Right.
different days like that. And we're fine if we could, if it's on a show platform.
Mhm.
But you can hear in the paper and the stories and just your family members who are veterans who can barely get health care, who are veterans who come home and they homeless. Let's not dig back into people coming home from the Vietnam War,
Right.
And different things like that, which you would think after they have served this country, they would come back to, a better living situation or get all the help that they need. But it's almost like, you done did what you exactly, Miss Bruce. You done did what we needed you to do, and now we don't really need you no more.
Yeah, it's like you're fighting twice.
Right.
You're fighting for the country, and then you're fighting when
For
you
your
get
life.
back for your life. And
yeah,
it's a hard one to really digest, because we can do more. We should do more, right?
mm-hmm.
And then providing some of these other social services to the people who literally protect us from a whole lot of things we don't even know, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even know what's happening.
We don't.
But we're protected. Somebody's out there making sure that you can laugh, you can joke, you can enjoy the life, and their lives is on the line.
Yeah. And then too, if stuff pop off, they ready to go.
They're ready to go.
And they gone. And we just, we sleeping easy.
Correct.
In our beds, driving our cars, going to work or not going to work, just doing whatever. And they're like on the ready, like all the time, just like on the ready.
Listen, they get that call, they on the go.
Yeah.
And they know it. Okay, I'm packed, ready to ride if something goes off. And that's that. Again, we got to be thankful for that. But we should do more than just say thank you. We should do more than just have a parade.
Yeah.
But we should definitely be doing stuff not just for the individuals, but for their families as well.
For their families,
they do get a whole lot. We can't say they don't get nothing. In terms of their education, that's another reason why it's a good idea for my young folks who are out there who's thinking about getting into the military. It's a good idea because, again, your education is paid for, and if you don't use it, it rolls over to your kids.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, so they get to roll that over to their kids so that their kids can have a free education. So there's a lot of other benefits, but it's not enough.
Say free, but you really paying for it.
Well, you paying for it. You paying for it. Correct.
Yeah.
You paying for it.
Yeah, you paying for it. And I guess my feeling is too, I remember Desert Storm. So prior to Desert Storm, and you're having like your friends and stuff join the military or join the reserves, thinking, oh well, we probably not gonna have a war and da da da, whatever. Yep. And you thinking, okay, I'm just gonna join the reserves and, like you said, get money for school and da 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 da. And then it's wartime, and it was like, that is not that's really not why I joined. The reserves or the this or the that or whatever, and you end up, in war, and it's like, how do you process that? Because your goal was, okay, I'm gonna serve 1 weekend out the month and one week out the year and da 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 da, and I'm gonna get my education paid for, and I'm banking on we're not gonna go to war, and then we do.
Yeah, I think that's another piece. I know that issues will rise, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we put ourselves in positions we don't need to put ourselves in.
Mm.
And the people who don't go, who are not sending their sons and their daughters, are the ones who are actually making the decisions on whether or not we should go to war.
Right.
And that's kind of hard, I had
Which
that
is
same.
much different from yesteryear, because the president or whoever the leader was, they charged. They were like at the
They were
front.
in the battle too.
They went to
Correct.
war with
Correct.
with everybody else.
Correct.
And
Correct.
it is easier for you to sit behind a desk and say, "Yeah, we finna go fight," and you're not going.
Correct. You just pushing the pencil.
Yeah.
And then again, the young and it's hard because that's who's out there, risking their lives, where you may have somebody that's not, I don't even want to just say sane. 40, 45, man. I'm just happy that we didn't have a war during
right. And I was like telling people, please don't join nothing right now.
Yeah, I mean, leadership is so big.
Mm-hmm.
It's so big, and you got to give the leaders at the time, especially military leaders who were still fighting back with some of the craziness that was coming out of the White House at the time.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, we're not gonna do that. That's not how this runs.
Yeah.
There was a point where 45 wanted a military parade in his honor. Yeah, that's not something we do here. Almost like a tyrant would do, right? In some of these other countries that have the military parade just for the president, he wanted one for himself. Luckily, they were like, nah, we're not going to do that. And from my understanding, there was a lot of people said, hey, we can't come because we all have, a lot of us have, I forgot, like a boot injury, a toe injury, something crazy like that. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this, So I think that leadership plays such a big role in, how do we treat our people who are protecting us, our veterans, and then, how do we send them out,
Just that, what I also too think about is how heavy that responsibility is on the captains and the sergeants and the whatever the rankings are in the different military branches. I mean, I don't know. I've seen some, I guess, war movies or whatever, or seen, different things portrayed about the about wars and about service and about military.
Right.
And I could not imagine being the leader saying, okay, we're going to go forward or we're going to hold or whatever. And then you get all of this, you're in this gun battle fight, whatever. And just you having to make that decision of what to do with people that you're responsible for. Like, you are literally responsible for their lives.
And that's why the vote counts so much. That's why. Because again, we're putting people's lives at risk.
But not even, because that part we don't necessarily vote on.
No, we do. We voted for 45.
Not a platoon leader.
Well, we didn't vote for him, but I'm saying
I'm not even saying like the president level. I'm talking,
right.
I'm talking lower down. You're because you don't call and say, well, Mr. President, do we advance? You make that decision.
Not necessarily. I think again the colonel got to get the information from.
Right, but I'm still saying it's still a lot of it is split-second decision
Oh
making.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That the weight of that. I
think it really the weight comes down from the top, all the way from the top.
I mean, I agree with you on that.
You know,
absolutely.
like here we got to decide whether or not we need to send our troops to X, Y, and Z. And then from there, okay, we got the call, we got to go. Now I'm taking my troops with me or my platoon, right? And they're under my responsibility.
Right.
And my job is to, okay, go ahead and handle the job and bring everybody back home safe.
Right. That weight right there. That weight.
The hard part is when everybody don't come back home.
Yeah. And, and do they feel responsible for that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this, like I have a lot of military friends. Shout out to Sergeant Handy. That's my man. They're a very tight-knit community. Very tight-knit. I got a couple of frat brothers that are doing some great work. Very tight-knit. Like that's my brother, right? So we think we understand, but we don't even have, we have no clue. We have no clue. So I think the responsibility is heavy. Shout out to Okira, brother Okira. That's my guy. Oh man! Again, they do value that. They value that. So I think that decision. Okay, we out here. I got to make sure that my team comes back because we left with how many we need to come back with.
Come back with that many. Yeah.
No man left behind.
That is definitely a calling. I truly believe that. Because it is a lot of sacrifice.
Yep.
It is a lot of sacrifice. It is a lot of, just uncertainty, because you don't know what you get. Well, I don't know whether you don't know what you get.
No, they know. They know.
Yeah, they know.
They
but
know.
They don't know the outcome.
Yeah, I mean that's part of.
They know their training.
Correct.
They know the strategy.
Right.
But what if that strategy don't work?
Well, you push forward.
Yeah.
You keep pushing forward, and that's part of what they do, right?
Yeah.
Whereas most civilians would run away from the fire, they will run towards the fire.
Yeah.
They run towards the battle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think about a lot of military personnel who then become police officers, firemen.
Right.
Again, protecting and serving.
Right.
It's like
it is a calling. It's a
calling. They run to protect, run to towards the danger, not away from the danger.
Yeah. Our guest is having some internet issues.
Oh man.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So that's the good thing about this platform is that people could come in from anywhere because she lives in Louisiana. So that's the good thing. The bad thing is if your internet not working,
it's hard to get on. Right.
So, yeah. So here's another thing that I think about when I think about military and people that serve, and I applaud them and pay homage to them because they can be in a position of serving and fighting for a country that doesn't serve and fight for them back.
I just saw something on Red Tails, and I got to give a shout out to man. I'm trying to get the full name. It'll come to me. I was just looking at something on Red Tails and how, we got to give them, they were literally giving them praise specifically. So imagine, you're going out to protect the country and you come back to the racism, to the hate, whereas you just literally saved the world.
Yeah.
You literally, and you people look at you different, talk to you different, and you come back and it's like they don't even know what you really just went through.
Right.
To keep them safe, to keep them doing what they're doing.
Right.
So we got to give them, man.
Right.
We got to give them Dr. Wise. Deshaun Wise is one of my good friends. Her grandfather was a pilot for the Tuskegee Airmen.
Mm-hmm.
So here again, it still goes on. I think we still have people who are coming back.
Right. And isn't that amazing that like you're still willing to serve while we fighting for change? That is amazing to me. Like you didn't wait until we were accepted or whatever. So you're in the military fighting for a country that is still treating you unfairly.
Yeah.
And that to me is amazing. It's amazing.
Knowing that there's a bigger purpose, right?
Yeah.
And that's how it's a calling.
Yeah.
It's a calling. Like, no. They're like, hey, we know this is going on, but we got to protect the country. But it says a lot because, again, there are wars that were fought, and we're like, well, why are we fighting these wars? Why are we in this position when we don't have to be?
Yeah.
I think about Muhammad Ali in his battle, right? He's like, no, I'm not gonna go and fight because I don't know these. There's no reason for me to fight these people because they haven't done anything to me.
Right.
And
then he was very vocal.
Very.
Why am I joining the army when y'all don't even treat me right here?
Right here. There's a battle going on right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's literally a war going on within the country.
Right.
But yet we're fighting another war for the country.
Right. Right.
And then even while you're out there, you getting picked on. You getting, I don't even want to get too deep. Not today.
So it is Kitchen Talk, CTC, Conversations That Cook. We're here honoring our veterans. We are super grateful for their service, for all that they have done, all that they have sacrificed. Definitely on the bandwagon for them to be treated much better when they get home. And
not just that. I'm sorry, I had to cut you off.
Not just a parade.
Yes, yes.
But more.
I think it's before, during, and after.
Yeah.
Lisa, to be honest with you, before, during, and after. Because again, as they go to serve, their families are still here.
Right.
And that means one less person who's able to take the kids to work, to school, to clean up around the house, to do some of the things we take for granted.
Yeah.
That's one less person who's there in the family to keep that unit moving.
Sure.
So we got to do more to say, hey, we honor that and we thank you for that. And whatever it is that we can do to give back, let's put that in play.
I agree with you.
But let's do it collectively, not just individually, because there are people who are doing, foundations and organizations that do a whole lot to support these families.
Mm-hmm.
But as a country as a whole, there's so much more that could be done.
I think there may be some strides being made as well when we talk about our veterans and them coming back from active duty. I remember terms like shell shock.
Yes.
I remember terms like, just different things like that.
PTSD.
But now, no, it wasn't even PTSD then. It was, now we're
understand. Yes.
Right. So now we're exploring.
Yes.
Before we just expected them to come back and fall back in line.
Yes.
But I can't even imagine seeing death in that way or even having to cause death.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And how you process that. And so we would just say, oh, the military made them crazy. I've heard that, they come back, oh, they shell shock, oh, this, that, and the other. But we did not take into account that they are human beings. Yep. And we naturally just don't go around killing people.
No.
And so now you put a gun in my hand and say I gotta kill somebody.
Yeah.
And you don't think about what that does and how I'm gonna process that later on.
It's crazy because there should be so much more mental health in place. Again, before, during, and after.
Absolutely.
Because there's certain people who mentally, you don't need to be out there on the field like that. You know what I mean? Because going out there and seeing that is definitely going to traumatize you. So let's do a mental evaluation. They do that with the astronauts. You got to go through this mental evaluation and say, hey, are you all together before we send you out of space?
Isolation.
Correct. I think the same thing should happen with the military. I know they do a lot to keep them disciplined and in play, but going out like that,
there's no mental health test or
not that I'm aware of.
Really?
No, not that I'm aware of. Once you're of age, you pass the physical exam.
Yeah.
You ready to go.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. To me, I know we honoring the veterans, but how you take an 18-year-old and train them for the Army? Well, I don't get that.
I'm not against the age. I'm not against the age.
I just think that's too young to have a gun.
No. Well, see, that's the other thing. We
really go to war.
You talking about 18 having a gun. In most families, you about 5 years old when you get your first little.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's why I said again, the discipline, the mental evaluation, the preparation. I think 18 is all right.
I think that's too young. I think it's too young for a police officer. I think it's too young for a firefighter. I just think it's too young. I really do think they need some college experience or life experience. They might not be college, a life experience. They need something. I think it should be 21.
Listen, when you in high school.
21.
No,
21. Like you go off to the war, you 18, 19, you can't even drink a beer, but you can fight with guns and carrying on. No,
I disagree with that. But I do think 18 is right because again, you have to be physically fit to run up these places, up and down hills.
You can be physically fit at 21.
You can, but then again, you're already there at 18. We just continue to condition. At 18, I think is a great age. We have certain students who probably need to be in the military at 18. You need to probably go at 16.
No,
I'm telling you. I think if they would have had it, they go through JROTC, and then you go into the military. You're still not sure what it is you're trying to do. Let's get some discipline in your life because they probably didn't even get it at home. 18, yeah, you need it. Listen, my dad, 18, you got to get out this house. Talking about, man, he said if you're either you working, military, or college, you got to pick. You're not doing nothing.
Now, I mean, I get to work and I get going to school.
And right now we got a lot of them who are not doing anything.
Well, now 18 is different from when I was 18.
Correct. We got some 18 years old, right?
And again, I say that is why I don't want you in the military with a gun. These children can't think straight.
Well, again,
I don't want you.
You got to go through boot camp.
I don't want you in police force. I don't want you in firefighting.
No, I disagree with that. No, I disagree with that.
All
you're going to do is give them more time to be more reckless. More time to be more reckless. That's all you're giving them. You need to be 18, really 16. You need to be ready.
I want you
Come
to
on.
stop.
What
I want
you
you to
got to
stop.
go. You got some of these
16,
kids.
you are not mature enough to handle that kind
Again,
of
that
responsibility.
I'm talking about a JROTC, a preparation for the next step, which is to go into the military.
Okay, so I'll give you. You can go, but you
Don't say
can't go to
21.
war at 18. You can
Yes.
go to training, to boot camp. You can do all of that training, but you're not going to war at 8 till you get 21. That's what I
We
say.
just talked about the Tuskegee Airmen.
Mm-hmm.
These guys were 18. Some
But
of
not
some of them lied about their age
France,
just to go and fight. And if they did not,
France,
America would not be what it is today.
France. A 18-year-old in that era is different from an 18-year-old in my era, and definitely different from an 18-year-old today.
So I'm gonna tell you something, and you said it. We said it earlier. You go in one way, you come out a different way. You're not going in the same way you came out. There's no way. No way. They will work that out of you. Discipline,
Yes, but they program you.
character,
I get that.
character. This thing is embedded in their system. That's why it works. It's been working. These kids leave as kids and come back as men and women. They address you different. They talk to you different. It's again that leadership, that preparation, that training.
I get that, but I'm saying wartime. You don't need
Wartime. It don't make sense to prepare and then you're not ready for the war. Because the war, when the war comes, you got to be ready.
Need more time.
Okay. So listen, I cannot remember the name of the movie, but again, even in our history, at a time, women could not go and fight, right? But if your village is being attacked and you are a young 18-year-old and your house, your home, your country is being attacked and you have the ability to fight, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? That's why the women started getting into this. We're not gonna sit back and let just the men fight,
right?
Because we got the ability to fight too.
I still think it's too young.
Is if you are willing and able, you need to get out there. You need to get out there. There's some of these kids who need to go. Period. You need to go. Period. Because you missed the discipline, self-discipline, the dedication that's needed to move forward into your adulthood. They missed it. Fortunately, I had a father who was ready. He did military inspections in our house when we cleaned in the room. I'm talking about white glove treatment. If it's dusty, you cleaning the whole thing over again. That's some discipline. A lot of our kids don't have that. They're missing that. So then they get into the college arena, and you got to get up at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock. So if you can't do it, you can't do it in high school. Come on now. Then you get into a college arena, you think man. But they could get it from the training and the support. They literally break you down to bring you back up.
Yeah, that's probably a whole nother conversation as far as how they do that. I'm not too much in agreement with that either. However, I do
listen. We got the best.
Listen, this is Happy Veterans Day.
Yes,
so
we got the best men and women in the world.
Absolutely,
protecting our interests.
Yep,
and our freedoms. Yep. I'm giving them all the kudos. They broke you down to bring you back up. Here you are today. Man, I love going to my church on Sunday. We normally do a special service for our men and women. And just to see the different men and women who stand up and get, their kudos, I'm like, man, I could see it in you. You already knew you had just the way they stand up.
Hey,
Like Cam, welcome to the combo.
Yeah, Cam. Actually, Cameron is in the junior ROTC.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you should have had Cameron on the show. You should have had Cam on the show today.
I know, right? I'm sure Chaka did not know that her internet was gonna be acting crazy. I mean, none of us do. We actually had this problem last night at church. The internet just went out, so we couldn't stream service.
Oh wow!
Stream Bible study. We usually do like this kind of hybrid in person and Zoom, and we could not Zoom last night. But
oh wow!
Because of internet and technology, you love it until you don't. You love it until it ain't working.
So it ain't working.
That sort of thing.
So it's not
but
working.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it is an ambitious career in the military. I do think that. I think that because of the changes and the things that we're seeing now, there are even more facets of the military. Like, I think there's another kind of branch thing with the cyber,
listen, the military has changed.
Yeah.
So you're right. We're talking about the internet. We got people who that's what they work on. The internet, cyber communications, engineering.
Yeah.
You talk about it, they're working on it.
Yeah. So it is a whole lot that is involved. And then I also think about the men and women who may not be on the battlefield, but all of that works behind the scenes to even make that happen. It is so many moving parts to military. And just to think about somebody that is the logistics sergeant, or whatever, and you're working that out, shout out to that, to them, because they're making it happen. I think about it because I think of everything as theater, to me, but all we see sometimes are the people on the stage. We don't see the folks that draw the curtains. We don't see the folks that put stuff on and off stage so you can have all of this spectacle. We don't see the people that even make the stuff that go on the stage so you can have the spectacle. We don't, and I think about that with our military and giving these different shouts out to them as well. The people who process paperwork, all of that paperwork, the people who make sure that food gets to where it needs to get to.
Yep.
Oh, just so many moving parts that make the military happen.
While you were saying that, I was thinking about Katrina and how the military went in and literally helped the city. We're going to have houses here. We're going to clean up. This is the area to do this. They literally just came in and said, here's the plan of action. 1, 2, 3, let's make it work. Here's a telecommunication area. It's not just we're going to war.
Right.
Because that's what we think about when we think about the military. But there's also a piece, a segment of that in terms of how do we protect the house? We had a major storm come in. Who's going to be there at the front line? It's the military.
Yeah.
We got to set this up, get everybody back in place, clean up. It's all of that logistics, and they do it so well. But again, it goes back to the training. That's why I said, Lisa, 18.
What did I say?
Work. You got to go to work.
Give you 18. I will give you 18 for training and prep. I'm not giving you 18 to go to war. I'm sorry. 21
Oh
to go for
God.
actual literal live combat.
No.
21.
When you ready, you ready. Let's make it happen. So there's so much. You're right. That happens behind the scenes, and that they do to ensure that again we're moving right. We're moving in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's
Now I
so
do think I do want to bring this up. There's a piece of this in terms of how the military has changed and still is changing, right? So these big battleships that we spend a whole lot of money on, these planes and things, are we still moving in that direction?
Oh wow, that's an interesting and I guess I feel like I know that there is drones
Yep.
and different things like that, but I also feel like the tested and true items and equipment still need to remain, and this is the reason. Just like our guests couldn't get on tonight,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, but it's
because
just like
you can't really rely on technology like that. And I know this is a crazy, very crazy analogy, but I think about the movie I, Robot.
right. Good movie.
It is a good movie. But I think about how your technology sometimes it act like people. It work when it want to work.
That's true. That is
You
true.
know. So what happens if the drone that we using malfunction?
Well, I think that the other piece for me is, the infrastructure bill has gone through finally,
Yeah.
and people still whining and crying about that. But there's another piece that we got to look at is how do we maintain our military force, right?
Yeah.
So all of these things need to be enhanced or, decommissioned and bought in some new stuff. We need to really think about that as well. Again,
Yeah.
not how do we continue to ensure that this engine is moving
Yeah.
efficiently,
Yeah.
and we're not just spending money just to spend money. Okay, we need another $1 million jet. Well, when we got men and women on the ground who probably need that resource in terms of health, wellness, housing, it's a whole lot.
We're gonna have to have this conversation again, definitely. And it's a couple of things that I definitely want to explore, and we're not gonna wait till the next Veterans Day. But military science is something that I want to explore because I want to know how you make the decisions that you make. I think that would be so interesting. Along the lines of some of the things that you're saying about the battleships or the
Yep.
jets or
Yep.
put the money here or put the money there. The other piece to that, which might be even another kitchen talk, is, and a friend of mine gave me this idea when I was talking about this show, was to actually talk to a military family, the
Yes.
wife,
Yes.
the children.
Yes.
What is it like? Do you go every 2
They
years?
do.
I
They
have a
do.
classmate that every few years, when her husband gets stationed somewhere else, she goes. And then my friend was saying that she had a cousin that after a little while, when the kids got like a certain age or whatever, she was like, okay, we're gonna settle right here. And we'll be here when you get through with all the tours. You
Right.
come back here. So how do what makes them make that decision? Of okay, are we gonna thank you, Cam. Are we gonna, go here, here, and here? Or are we gonna settle and let you go there, there, and there? And when you retire, you come back here. So those kind of decisions need, I would love to hear that. But here is one thing that I really wanted to ask Chaka was, what was it that made you join? What was it that makes you stay? What was it that makes you have the career in military? Those are some of the things that I would love, love, love to hear about. because I think I even have a greater appreciation for them, greater respect. I have like mad respect for anybody that served in the military because or is serving in the military. I know I couldn't. But so I had uncles. My uncle was a cook in the military. So, you know, they gotta eat and
You gotta eat,
burn.
correct.
He could burn. Oh my God, he's
Yeah.
cooked so much good food. And he would when he got home, he still cooked like he was cooking for a whole army.
But see, that's the thing, Lisa. That's why I said 18, because there's so many skills
Yes.
that's really needed. One of the things Sergeant Handy got to say it, man. She was really schooling me on the recruitment, right? So even think about this, just moving equipment back and forth as a truck driver. They were giving them signing bonuses. Here is a signing bonus for the Army to be a truck driver. That's how much they needed truck drivers just to move equipment back and forth.
But you had to sign up to be in the Army to do that?
Yeah, you got to sign up to be in the Army. You got to be in the Army. You know, we're not gonna let anybody
I see.
not let anybody drive this stuff. Again, at 18, I got to know that I can trust you. I know you have the skill sets, the responsibility. You're reliable. You're respectful. You know, and you're ready to take this challenge. Literally, signing bonus just for that. So there are certain jobs that they literally give you a signing bonus to come on. And you're getting paid. So it's it's that research that our young people really need to do. Again, it's not for everybody, but it's an option. It is an option, and there's a lot of students who need to take the advantage of the option.
Do they still have a draft? Like, can they still draft you? Do men still have to sign up for
I think it's men and women.
The women have to sign up for
I think depending on what's going on.
I think I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, find out, because I'm not 100% sure. I do think that it still exists. So if there's a war and there's low numbers, then yeah, you're recruited at this point.
Oh my goodness. Let's see.
But again, I think that's the other thing that we should definitely be thankful for is the ability to be political and to be what's the word? We're not looking for wars, but we're looking for resolutions, right? We can talk through these issues. We don't have to use violence to get some of these things, issues and challenges that we face. We don't have to use violence as the first result.
Yes. Almost all male U.S. citizens and male immigrants who are 18 through 25 are required to register with Selective Service.
Yep. I think that's why they put us all in the gymnasium. All in that.
Y'all was gonna have to sign up anyway, huh?
You going if you want to or not. But at least we're gonna test you to see where you would fall, because that's what they asked. Once your score dictated your leadership role, which I was like, okay. So you would, if you scored a certain score, then you would be placed in a certain area. I don't know if they still do that today, but yeah, it's still in play. But thankfully, we're in a era where we don't have to do that, right? We can resolve our issues with other countries in a more civil way. And I'm hoping that we could continue to do that, especially with some of these other countries that have a 45 in office.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name them, but there's a lot of other 45s out there.
Yeah.
Who mentally, yeah, you don't need to be, you don't need to be there.
Yeah. That's very interesting that they still have the sign up for Selective Service.
Again, there are times when we need to go out and fight. So when that time comes, I'm thankful that America is ready for that fight.
Wow.
I just continue to pray that we don't have to be there. That our men and women could be used for some of the other things we talked about on the show. When there's a crisis, a flood, or whatever, we know that we can count on them on that front.
Yeah.
But not in the front of, we got to go fight a war.
Yeah. It was interesting to see them serve during the first part of COVID when the testing sites were going up. Even at FAMU, you would see
great organization.
Yeah.
Yes, just to set up the organization. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
What was hard was seeing what happened in Afghanistan when the troops were pulled away from there. It was hard to see that. Equipment, thousands, millions. We can't even put a number on equipment that was left behind, but again, lives that were put at risk.
Yeah.
Because again, this is America spending money on protecting the world. That's a whole nother conversation too.
Yeah.
Whole nother conversation.
Well, we are again so very grateful and appreciative of all of our veterans. My father was in the Marine Corps. I don't know that much about his experience there. We were like not even born yet. Like I said, uncle and just different people. I mean, if you just kind of search through your family, you have veterans that we definitely salute on this day and every day, because we really could not enjoy the life we live without somebody at the border. Standing and protecting us. And choosing to do so. I think that is the biggest thing, is that you chose this life, this career in military service to protect and to serve, and just not even, like you said, in the out in the world, but even right here when crises come up or different things. And so, or helping out with hurricanes, or helping out with this, or helping out with that. It was just, it's so lovely to see, that presence of military, knowing that you're not just caring for us abroad, but you're caring for us at home. And then we also just kind of want to employ people to be more cognizant of how we're treating them before, during, and after.
Now I was thinking of
and that is a lot. I'm sorry, go ahead, France.
I was thinking of Colin Powell when you said that.
Yeah.
I mean, again, 18.
Yeah.
But understood.
You don't know if he was 18 or not.
Google it. I have a feeling he was 18.
How old was Colin Powell when he...
Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. I'm telling you. What does it say? What does it say?
I didn't ask.
Oh, let me ask.
Hold on.
Let me ask.
How old was Colin Powell when he joined the military? Siri gonna be like, none of your business.
He had to be 18. Had to be. Again, these some of these guys were younger than 18.
This ain't telling me that. This says Colin Powell was a 10-year-old son of Jamaican immigrants in 1948, with President Harry S. Truman ordered the desegregation of, you know what, Siri don't listen well.
Oh man, that's another beautiful thing about America. You have people from other countries fighting, which is how America started. People from other countries fighting for the values that we hold true. So, again, you don't know all of these young veteran, young service men and women
group of people that have different experiences. You're right, Cameron.
These young veterans, these young servicemen and women, we got to give them a shout out because again, we don't know who they might be. They might be the next Colin Powell. They might be the next such and such. So we continue to celebrate and honor you. And today is just one of the days that we do that, but we really need to do it on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Miss Fuller.
Absolutely. So this has been a very good comment. You know what, friends? We don't do too bad on this, do we? By ourselves. We miss Jason, of course.
Right. It was a good talk.
It was.
And then we opened up for some other talks. So
and then we didn't argue too much, you know.
The 18-year-old.
I'm just saying, I said too much. See how you do? I said too much.
Yeah,
I didn't say
right. I give you that. We getting better. We
are. And I even compromised on the 18 a little bit. See? Thank you. My props.
Hey, welcome to the club. I'm happy I was able to influence you. As usual.
Oh my goodness. It was a great talk. You know what? I can't stand you sometimes. I really don't like him, y'all. I'm trying to tell you.
That's why. Oh boy.
So shout out to U.S. Army veteran Chaka Wright. I know her as Candy. Sorry she had technical difficulty with her internet, couldn't get on, but definitely when we do this show again in the near future, because I don't, I think this is a good subject.
Yeah, I got a couple of people I want to bring on too that I think will definitely add value to the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, talk about what the military looks like today. Yeah. I mean, that would be a great conversation just so we can have a better understanding. I do thank God that I am too old now to join or be drafted because I wouldn't have been able to make it. I probably couldn't have made it through the
Well, you know what? You could have been a clerk. The person that's processing the paperwork.
Listen, you still got to go through basic training.
You can do it.
They take your phone. They don't let you talk to nobody. They don't let you see nobody for 6 weeks. No.
Discipline.
I'm out the door. Okay. That is not my favorite word. Not my favorite word at all. Thank you, Shima. Not my favorite word. So it has been Kitchen Talk. The hour has been well spent. We love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching us on Facebook, hit the like. Never miss another show. We are going to be back right here next week. This is my form of discipline. Is that I come here every week and do this with you guys. And I love it. So I guess I do like discipline a little bit.
Right.
But it's Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations that cook.
And that they do. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Happy Veterans